Oh my god, it feels so good to be back.
Does anybody care? Oh my god. Do you care?
First of all, sorry for the hiatus, but I'm back now. Thank you for all putting up with me and coming back to my video. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Faith and I love Eurovision. So I had a few videos in the running, but because I've been so busy and just a bit overwhelmed in general, I just never ended up putting them out. But I did want to put out a video at least before the semi-finals. And I think of all topics to talk about, this is probably the most important one. And that is who's going to win this year. So there's actually a lot of conversation this year about whether it's going to be a weaker Eurovision year. And for my personal taste, I think it's probably one of the more weaker years song-wise that we've had in the last decade. But I think by the time we get to the final, with the amazing Swiss production we're getting and also the songs that qualify, I think we're in for a really fun final this year. This year I think is a bit more exciting for me, and I think a lot of Eurofans, because we seem to be a bit more torn on who we think is going to win this year. I think in the last 3 years anyway, it's been pretty predictable who was going to win, or at least there was a 2-horse race between a jury winner and a fan favourite. But this year I think it's a lot more open, which just makes it all the more exciting. I personally think it will be quite close. I think it will be similar to 2016, 2019, where the overall winner didn't come first in either the televote or the jury. Like, they would have come second or third in both. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 countries that I think could take the crown this year, one of them being kind of a dark horse. For context, I am recording this the weekend before the final, so I have seen all the rehearsal clips. And I've also read the descriptions of the performances that have been released. But other than that, I really haven't seen much. I'm also very aware that the 30-second clip the broadcasters put out are probably not even the best part of the performance. So I'm definitely bearing that in mind. Anyway, on to the first country. And the first country that I think could win Eurovision this year is Austria. So for us Eurofans, as soon as we heard the song, we knew it was probably going to be a jury favourite, and there were immediate comparisons to The Code by Nemo, which literally just won last year. This is because the song mixes opera, and then the last 30 seconds it has a techno drop, which has the genre mashup that Switzerland had last year. Now, we know JJ can sing live. I've actually seen him perform live at LEP, and he is flawless. He can hit those notes with such ease. So there's absolutely no question that he'll be able to pull it off vocally, and juries will definitely throw points at him for that. I have actually seen some conversations this year about whether some televoters might be reluctant to give Austria points because they noticed the comparison with Nemo last year. But televoting and also juries are so difficult to predict. Sometimes they just go completely way off what we predicted. So I'm going to bear that in mind, and I guess we'll see what happens. So the staging itself can definitely make or break this being a winner. It's incredibly ambitious, and we've been told it's going to be filmed pretty much entirely in black and white. Essentially, for the performance, JJ is on a boat and he is sailing through a storm, and apparently the visuals are incredibly impressive. The rehearsal clip the broadcaster showed us hasn't showed us much. It's just the first 30 seconds of the song, which features a little paper boat. So they are definitely trying to keep as much of the staging a surprise as possible. The genre of the song, the impressive vocals and the experimental staging are a magical trio which can really help get points from both televoters and juries. However, I am slightly worried because sometimes avant-garde staging doesn't quite connect with the audience, especially when it's in black and white. It can kind of make the audience feel a little bit disconnected. I mentioned in my video about how the UK can win Eurovision that a close connection to the audience can really help a song get to a winner potential. However, sometimes when a song is too experimental with its staging, the audience can just completely shut off. I believe Austria is currently second in the odds, but they've been kind of rising and falling over the past few weeks, so I guess we'll see. The next country I'm going to talk about is France. Since Luan was revealed as France's entrant this year, all eyes have been on France. Results-wise, France has had a lot of momentum the last few years, and also Luan is a very big name over there. It feels like it's the perfect recipe for a France win, which I think is really, really overdue. The song itself is a really beautiful power ballad, which really pulls at people's heartstrings, and Luan can sing it. So her staging is based around sand, and she's for the most part sitting around a pile of sand. And at the climax of the song, the sand turns into a tornado that kind of spins around her. We saw a clip of this in the rehearsal, and from the descriptions as well, it seems to be really, really impressive. However, I am hoping that the clip we saw isn't the most impressive part of the whole performance, because I am hoping for something a little bit more. I think when comparing this song to Austria, I think there's a bit more relatability with the song. You know, it's about being a mother. And also France tend to do really well in the televote a lot of the time. And I also think there's a nostalgia element with a young French woman singing a French ballad. It's something that my mum has even pointed out that France tend to do. Though I think this song really appeals to all ages, I think that it can really, really get the votes from slightly older people. I think the song is a winning song, but my question is whether the staging will be enough. And I guess time will tell. The third song I am going to talk about is Sweden. Now, if I had to have a gun put to my head and I had to put a bet on one song to win the whole contest this year, I would say Sweden. I was incredibly fortunate to see Kai win Melfest live.
88!
And I also got the amazing opportunity to interview them. And I am planning on doing my Melfest vlog in the off season, just as a fun little project, because I have so much footage from it, but I just never found the time to edit it down. But that's going to be a fun off season project, and you can see everything I got up to. And I'm really sorry for the delay on that, but it would be a fun thing to kind of look back on when we're kind of all bored after Eurovision's over. Anyway, Bada Bada Bastu has really built up momentum this year, and it's really taken off and kind of gone viral. It's a super fun song with the budget and slickness of Sweden. And I must say, I am so glad that Sweden are finally sending something different. I think musical diversity is always a good thing, especially with Sweden, who kind of built up a reputation for only focusing on really slick pop numbers. So as far as we're aware, the staging for Sweden seems to be very similar to Melfest, except there appears to be some changes with the lighting, and also, most importantly, a bigger sausage. Now, it's a well-known fact that juries do love Sweden, and I think that they will definitely show love to Bada Bada Bastu, but I don't think they will quite top the juries this year. However, for once, I think Sweden actually have a chance at topping the televote. I think a big question many of us have is, do people really want Sweden to win again? Though casual watchers may not know much about Eurovision history, I know a lot of them are aware that Sweden tend to really dominate the competition. So it is really a question of whether people will actually bother to send votes to them, or whether they'll just assume they'll do well, so there's no point in sending them votes anyway. But as I said before, sometimes it's incredibly hard to predict the televote. So again, we shall see. But I think this is definitely coming top 3. I'd be very shocked if it appeared outside of it. The fourth country I am going to talk about is Finland. So Ich Kommer actually had a lot of momentum just after it won Eurovision, and it really became a fan favourite, but unfortunately I think it became a victim of recency bias, and people kind of forgot about it a little bit. But, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, I still think it has a shot at winning. The song itself this year is pretty unique. It's a girl bop with some 80s influence, and Erica has probably the best stage presence of everyone this year. Erica really is an absolute star. I mentioned a few videos ago that I actually watched UMK with my mum, and for context, she is a 60-something-year-old British woman. She's a casual Eurovision watcher, and she can be really critical of songs a lot of the time, and Ich Komme was actually her favourite. She loved it. To this day, she still chants around the house, Ich komme, and I have to act ignorant when I hear her do this and pretend I don't know what the translation of that is. So as far as we're aware, the staging is pretty much the UMK staging, but just bigger. From the clips we've been shown, the performance looks really slick. The camera angles are stunning. And to be honest, Finland are just really good at staging in general, so we couldn't really expect any less from them. I think the climax of the song, pun intended, can be a winning moment in the song. And we need a winning moment. And I think that could be it. I just really, really hope that the running order does her some justice. I think she can do well with both the televote and the jury because she really has that pop star appeal. I do actually feel quite sorry for her this year because she's kind of been overshadowed in Finland by Kai, who also happened to be from Finland. But I really hope that the casual watchers and the juries can show her the love in the final that she really, really deserves, because I think this is going to do so much better than people expect. And as I said, I really think this could win. I can see a route for her winning. Now, finally, on to country number 5. And this is the dark horse of the competition, I feel like. And anyone who follows me on social media will not be surprised by this at all. It's Albania. So there may be a tiny bit of bias because they are my number 1 this year, but I can see a route to them winning. Firstly, this song really stands out amongst the competition, and unfortunately at this moment in time, it's looking like it might potentially be the only Balkan song that makes the final. Their modern experimental sound that's fused with traditional Albanian elements is really special, and Beatrice is such an amazing singer, and she also has brilliant stage presence. I think Zjam is the song that has become the cult favourite this year in the Eurovision community, and I can see it doing really well with both juries and televote. So the staging is completely different to what we saw at FIC. It has a lot of dramatic colour and lighting that emphasises the really heavy bass notes in the song. It's been described as a full body experience, and I am so excited to see the whole thing. So the 30-second clip we were shown has a lot of potential, but I have a feeling it's not the big wow moment of the song. I think the big wow moment will be when it gets to Cole's verse. I'm trying not to be delusional about it, but I think under the right circumstances, it could win. The main comparison I can think of is Jamala's 1944. It was a Ukrainian ballad with a slight twist, and it had really beautiful dramatic staging. She didn't win the jury or televote that year, but she still ended up winning the whole thing. And I think this is how Albania could potentially win this year too. As many people have mentioned before, I think that an Albanian win could really do a lot of good for the future of Eurovision, because it would be really amazing to have a non-Western country host the competition. I think it would make the competition more diverse, and it would also make the competition more affordable for both Euro fans and the delegations, because cost is a huge contributing factor as to whether a country decides to compete or not. I also put a bet on Albania a few months ago, so I also hope they win for that reason. And I was actually quite lucky because I put a bet on Nemo last year and I won. But all that money went to me getting my wisdom tooth removed. But I'm hoping this year I could put the money towards going to Eurovision next year, because I wasn't able to afford to go to Eurovision this year. Switzerland was just not in my price range at all. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a really, really amazing Eurovision week. Please comment down below what your thoughts are. Who do you think's gonna win? And yeah, enjoy the final.
Viva, viva, viva.